Welcome to We Gotta Talk, a live weekly talk show and podcast where we like to dig deep. From health to relationships to alternative lifestyles and more, the one thing you will always get is a deep dive. I'm Sonni, a 15-year veteran of TV news, freelance writer, blogger, mom of 3, and wife. But most of all, I'm just a die-hard oversharer, someone who's genuinely curious about, well, everything around me. And I can't wait for you to join in on these conversations that I promise will impact, inspire, and entertain you. Now, let's talk. Hey, everybody. Oh my gosh. I am so glad you are here for the debut episode of We Gotta Talk. Coming to you live from my home office in quarantine, like pretty much everyone else right now. Today's episode is so exciting. For the first week, I wanted to do something that I know so many of you guys can relate to. I have a lot of mom and parent listeners and watchers out there. And today's guests are here to talk about the ever-elusive mom friends. We have the hosts of Momtourage Podcast, Hearon-Smith and Keri Setaro, here to talk with me about why it's important to have mom friends, why it's so hard to have mom friends, and so much more. Ladies, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes. Can you hear us?
We were going through this audio test beforehand, and as it turns out, there's a lot of technology to take care of when you're doing it. So, how are you? How are you holding up in lockdown in New York, right?
Yeah. Technically New Jersey. I'm right across the river from New York. She's in Brooklyn.
I'm in Brooklyn.
But we're good. We're good. We're just, trying to make the most of it, be creative, do our own show, be in each other's bubbles. I don't know. What do we want to add, Keri?
I'm the child of a Hash's negotiator and an ER nurse. So I kind of thrive under chaotic pressure. So once I got into quarantine, this is like how I was raised to thrive. So I'm actually doing not so bad. I'm making the best of the situation.
Oh, I love it. I need to borrow your energy for a second. I've been like Annie since this started. You guys were such perfect guests for this first episode because I've been listening and have seen your names about Scary Mommy is, a group you used to work for. Now you have your own show called Momtourage. So I've loved your dynamic for so long and the vibe that you get when you listen to the show, which is just genuinely two friends, two moms. Just kind of shooting the shit, which I love. I wanted to talk about this topic because I know for me, when I was a mom for the first time 7.5, almost 8 years ago now, the one big challenge I had was like finding other women to connect to because your life changes overnight so drastically. So whoever wants to start, my first question is, did you have like a mom pickup line you used to like find people, or what was the way that you connected with other women in that time?
Can I go first, Ash?
Yeah, please.
So I'm come from a slightly different skew than Ashley because I'm the last of my friends to really have a baby. I'm a lot older and decided to have my kids later. So my pickup mom line is like super direct and it's worked really well and it's bombed really badly, like embarrassingly badly, which is I like use a pickup line that I would use for dating, but with a mom. Like I'll be like, you look really good in those jeans or like whatever it is. And the people that get, I guess it like it narrows. Yeah. The people that get it really get it. And then we're like friends forever. But I did this pickup line at Brooklyn Bowl in Brooklyn, which is like pre-COVID, obviously.
Right.
It's
Picture
like
bowling.
Yeah, it's a nightclub, but they open it during the day on Sundays for like hipster kid family, and there's like music and bowling.
That's
and
another like group of parents, by the way. They're hipster.
Oh yes. Okay. Oh yes. I felt so ugly and underdressed for this like noon kids program. But anyway, I went up to
Keri style.
I went up
much
to this,
better at that. Sorry.
I went up to this mom. It was like a Fleetwood Mac themed kids event, as one does in Brooklyn. And I went up and I was like, "Hey, are you here by yourself?" And she was like, "Yes, I am." And then it was like, and my man was watching the whole thing. He's like, "You have got to stop. You sound crazy." I was like, "Sorry, I thought she seemed fun."
You know what? And there is a level of desperation in that stage where you are just dying to connect with somebody who's like not the baby and like stuck to your boobs, like nursing. I mean, you want a human adult connection and it's so hard. Ashley, do you have any Great line.
Yeah, I mean, where Keri was, one of the last ones, I was the first one of my friend group to have kids. Cause here you start later. I was 31, I guess, when no, that's not right. It's 32 maybe when I had Sebastian. And I never knew if I wanted to have a kid. I am not a kid person. So I was always very much that person that was like, if I ever have a kid, I am not going to just have mom friends. That's so lame. I need other people. And then I had Sebastian and I was like, ooh, I get it now. Like, I get that you need that person every once in a while that you reach out to and you're like, my kid is, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I doing this right? But I started taking a kid yoga class, where you bring your kid with you to do yoga. And that was my first outing in like really meeting other moms. And I simply said, do you guys want to go get a drink? And it's amazing how everyone was like, yes, let's go get a drink. And we kind of started this mom circle. But fast forward, none of us are really friends anymore. There's one girl I still talk to.
Well, I do think it's important for like new moms to realize there are definitely friends for phases, just like regular friends.
Just like boyfriends.
Yes, you have the rager friend that you go, dance on bars with, and you have like the friend that eats pizza with you. So it is kind of the same with mom friends. But I'm trying to think back. I think I have one really close friend from when my son was maybe 2 or 3. But it does kind of like time weeds out who has a true connection. And I wanted to ask if you guys think parenting style makes a difference on whether or not you remain friends. Because I feel like you have, the sleep training moms or like the natural moms. And even though you try not to define what you are or what your friend is, I do think people start to kind of go down their own lanes. Do you think that is like a deciding factor on who sticks around?
So I think to some extent, like obviously sleep training schedules are different. One of my closest friends, they had a baby. He's going to be 2, I think, in 2021. And they're totally different in the screen time thing. Like I'll sit my kid in front of the TV all day long if it means I can get things done. And their kid doesn't know what television is at this point. And that's fine.
Wait, how old?
He's going to be 2, I think.
God bless.
January. Oh my God, I could be so wrong.
Is this Danny? Is this Danny's kid?
Yes. Their kid does not watch TV at all. And you know what? That's fine. It really doesn't make any difference for me. I think at the end of the day,
am I allowed? Though they have a babysitter.
They have a nanny. Yeah.
That's the difference.
A daily nanny. So that definitely helps. But I think the fact that for me, it's just, are you an asshole? Are you an asshole? Is your kid an asshole? And that's really all it is. And that is a parenting style. I mean, no one's going to sit there and be like, my parenting style is raising an asshole. But
wait, what is an asshole kid? Tell me what defines it, because I feel like I may have come across a couple.
I mean, all kids are a little bit of an asshole. It's really about the parent. It's do you let your kid get away with things? Like, I don't want to go to a restaurant with one of those parents and kid combos where the kid is running around in the restaurant and the parent doesn't do anything to try and stop it. And it's just like, yeah, go be free. Like I clean up after my kid after we leave her out. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I completely get it. So you're right.
It's
like the reaction of the parent to the kid's actions. I mean, you're right. I mean, my husband and I call our kids all sorts of names on the daily. Yeah. Because they're testing boundaries, but it is the parent reaction. And I do think it says a lot as to whether or not they even make an attempt to react with stuff like that. Yeah. I had a really weird situation once that my son was like 5 or 6 and just simply didn't want to play with someone on a playground. Total stranger came up to him and a couple of other people who were playing together. And he did what I tell my kids to do all the time when they don't want to play. I said, never be mean, never sing anything mean, just kindly excuse yourself and say, I'm going to go talk to my mom. So he did that. And he's like, I just don't want to play with him. He's, whatever. He had his reasons, which is fine. He didn't say anything. And the mom came over to me 5 minutes later and she's like, your son owes my son an apology. I was like, excuse me? She's like, he didn't want to play with him. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't make him play when he didn't want to, but it was the first time that I've ever encountered a weird situation where parents were forcing something out of my child, another parent. Did anything like weird ever happen to you guys like that?
I feel like my kid, so backtrack. I used to be a celebrity nanny before I had a kid. So I am very much in the kid genre. So I've raised
NDAs, or can you tell us?
I did. I signed almost all NDNAs, but I'll try to drop some little Easter eggs as we go. But I had to raise a lot of other people's kids. And because I was a celebrity nanny, it wasn't just like I went home at the end of the night. I would like watch them for a month while their parents were shooting or doing something. So I feel like I did parent. It wasn't just more, babysitting kind of thing.
Right.
So because my kid's so young, we don't have that much, that kind of, I don't have that much like interaction, especially because my kid is being raised in quarantine. We don't have a lot of that like on the playground antics because she's so young.
Right.
But when I was But when I was a nanny, oh man, this used to happen all the time where, I'm like kind of a stickler about politeness and stuff like that with kids, even though I'm kind of rude. I just think you should at least try in the beginning. And then if you choose to not do it, that's your choice, but like set the standard. And I would have parents all the time, like I would say to the kids that I was nannying, like, if you don't want to give someone a hug or a kiss, you don't have to.
Right.
Your body is your choice, but you don't go ew, or you don't, like what you said, you just be polite. And I would have even other family members of the nanny, when I was nannying, because I would interact with other members of their family that weren't the parents, trying to force that, like grandparents or whatever. Yeah. And it would be like a thing. I would be like, well, you know what? He's not in a hugging phase right now. He's just not in a hugging phase. It's okay. He'll go back to hugging. It's nothing personal.
Yeah, it's weird. That in particular, I feel like is a really big conversation to have with girls too, because don't you remember being forced? I don't want to say forced because no one's like, please hug and kiss this weird uncle. But don't you remember being out of your comfort zone as a young girl and knowing that I knew that I just didn't want to be touched by some people.
Especially when I started to grow boobs, which happened really early, it just hurt. They were so sore. I didn't want to embrace anyone. It was just so sore.
And it doesn't mean that those people are weird or perverted. It's just because I just think it's important to teach girls that sort of sovereignty over their own bodies, because that can easily snowball into a lifetime of doing other things to make other people comfortable. And I just don't do that for my girls. So I love hearing that you respected that in the kids.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it would just get like that. Like my kid doesn't want to do that. So like, I don't think that that's a deal breaker that I should make my kid do that. So why don't we just change what we need to have from this situation? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys have any, like, I mean, I'm assuming, like you guys said, you're kind of like pod friends. So you're seeing each other's kids and families. Do you have any like favorite qualities in mom friends? Is there something beyond each other when you look at your extended group of friends that you're like, she's my people because, like, what do you look for?
They can hold their alcohol. Number one. No, I just think somebody who, like Keri and I, on one hand, like our kids are like an old married couple with each other. Like on one hand, they love each other. And on the other hand, they're like, just leave me alone. Yeah. Luna drew a picture for Sebastian and he was like so touched that she drew this picture for him. And the other day, I didn't tell you this yet. The other day, he was looking at it on the refrigerator. He goes, look at this beautiful picture Luna drew. And he goes, but she's not great artist. And I was like, excuse me, sir. Excuse me. You also are not that great of an artist. Secondly, she made you this beautiful picture. So I just want to get along with the mom. Like I want our kids to get along to some extent. That's really, my bar is very low. That's really what it is.
Yeah. For me, I think that's important. I keep my standards not that if any friends are watching, you're great people, but my standards are really very low. My friends are like, really, bitch? Yeah.
For me, it's the same thing that I look for in a real friend, not a mom friend, which is I'm a brutal honesty kind of girl. I'm just like, if our relationship is going to be a lot of like weird games, like I'm dating you, I'm not into it. It's too much work. Like if you're mad at me, tell me. I don't want any passive aggressiveness. Just tell me. I can take it. I'm an adult. I'm 42 years old. I've lived in, I don't take anything that's like personally, you know? And I want mom friends that are the same. I want a mom friend that I could be like, wow, your kid was a dick. And they could be like, yeah, my kid was a dick. And then I can say, yo, I really dislike my kid today, and not have a mom that's like, oh my God, she's such a bad mother. She doesn't like her kid. Like I definitely have because I'm in a wellness industry, I definitely have a lot of people that skew on that other end of like, we don't ever say our kids are terrible. We're doing a no television, no whatever. So I definitely have people in my sphere that are like that, but they're not my close friends. They're not my close mom friends. I need a person that I can just be like, yo, shit was crazy. And my kid. Yeah. Anyway, so same thing I look for in a long-term real friend, which is there's no hard feelings if I don't text you back. If you're wondering why I didn't, just ask me. And let's be honest about how great things are, how shitty things are, and it's an open line of communication.
Are you the type of friend, guys, to call someone and be like lay it straight, like, okay, this is something you like, do you ever cross the line when it comes into parenting styles? So this happened at the park, I don't know, something yesterday. I really think you should have, like, do you veer into that kind of territory with friends, or do you just kind of like, if there's a beef big enough to bring up, you kind of like wait for the right time? Because I know moms who have not been shy about being like, if that were my kid, and I'm like, really? Did you just like give me unsolicited parenting advice? But I know it comes from a good spot, but I just wonder if you ever encounter that, or like, where do you stand on that?
One of two things. Go ahead, Ash. Do you want to go first?
No, you go.
My sister. I sometimes do it with my sister, and we've had to have conversations since about like, do you want me to do that? Like before I had kids, right. I do it with my sister, and she was like, I don't want to hear that. And now that she had kids before me. So now, and she's younger than me. So she was just like, that's some more big sister advice that I don't need to hear. Now that we have kids, I think my approach is different. I think the information is the same. The approach is different, and it's much more appreciated. With friends that aren't family, the only time that's ever come into play is when, like, let's say we've all been having a dinner party together and I see somebody's kid doing something, not even to my kid, just in general. I'll have my close friends, I'll reprimand their child.
Right.
And like in kind of in front of them, but they're not seeing it. And I have to some friends asked afterwards, I'm so sorry I did that without us having a conversation about that. Are you okay if I see something being like, yo, dude, quit it. That's not cool. And all of my close friends, I think because I use that caliber of choice where I'm like, are you okay with me being brutally honest? They've all been like, yes, please. If you see something, please reprimand my child, you know, and they trust that I'm going to do it in a way that is really thoughtful and there's a reason for it. But that could be hairy, but I think it's only amongst my really good friends because I have that, like those choosing qualities about you have to be okay to like roll with this brutally honest shit.
Right. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I really haven't been in a situation like what Keri and you were both saying. Again, I don't have a ton of friends who have kids, and my kid has only been old enough in this very, very strange world. So really my exposure to that is so limited. But for example, if Keri did say something to my kid, he probably deserved it. Like and if he didn't, I would say like, Keri, come on, don't be like that. But she and I are similar enough that I think we have the same values and would both have the same know when to say something and not. So it really hasn't been something that's bothered me. But if it did, I would say something for sure.
I agree with you guys too. It's only the close friends and like the sisters who have license to do that. So I know that I'm in that same spot with my sister sometimes. She'll just be like, you need to fix this right now, or I'm gonna let them for you. I'm like, okay. I have to ask you guys this. Well, actually, you know what? Before I get to that, Ashley, you said you're the first one to have kids. That always creates an interesting dynamic between friendships of your non-mom friends. So how has that been, number one? And number two, do you feel like because I'm only kind of speaking from experience here, when you speak to those friends, kind of purposely try to steer everything away from the topic of motherhood? So kind of a two-pointed question here.
Yeah. So, I think not just for those friends though, I think it's very important to me to also feel like the person I always was. Obviously things about me have changed, but it's always been a very big priority to me to not be the person that can only talk about my kid, because honestly, he's not that interesting all the time. He really isn't. I love him to death, but
actually most of the time he's not that interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't want to be an asshole who says that about my kid, but I agree with you. I was a fully formed person before he came around. And in a few years, I mean, a good amount of years, he's going to go off to college and live his own life. And I don't want to struggle and be like, who was I? Where's that person I used to be? It's just against everything. But I will tell you, there are still a number of friends that haven't had kids and may not ever have kids. And some of those people, they're not as close to me anymore. And it's not about anything like I'm better than them because they have a kid or anything like that. But the truth is, and I only say this as somebody who was them, though my lifestyle is not a priority for them. They can't understand sometimes why I can't just like go out whenever. And this is obviously before COVID. That's just not what my life is anymore. And, it's a lot harder. I have to get a babysitter. I have to do this. I have to do that. You know, there's a lot of things that go into it. And a lot of those friends have had no interest in seeing my kid also, which is fine. That's okay.
That's pretty rude, actually.
It is, but it is.
But you try not to hurt because you never know where that's coming from. It could be them wanting a family and not being in a position to be in it. It could be them having a health problem. Like I've been there, so I get it, but that's kind of rude. I will just. But
it's also not my job to figure out why. Like
that's so true.
It's on them, and I don't mean to be curt and short and rude about it. But at the end of the day, like I really love where my life is right now, and I really love the people who are very close to me and involved in my circle. And I have those friends as secondary friends, and some of them have fallen to the wayside by their choice, by my choice, and it's okay. It's all right. At the end of the day, we're all fine. Right. Like, I know it's very ambivalent, but.
On that same note, but from a different standpoint, being the last to have kids, I was a part of like at 40, which is when I got pregnant, I was a part of like a crew of New York ladies that weren't going to have kids. Mm-hmm. And it's a real thing. Like it's a thing everywhere. I'm not just saying it's like, oh, this is a New York thing. But, you know, we were like, I had lost in other relationships. I'd gotten pregnant, lost the pregnancy. And I was just like, I'm not going to have a baby now. I don't have a boyfriend. I was 38, didn't have a boyfriend. I was like, I'm just going to be the lady crew that goes on awesome vacations and fills up their life. And we are boss bitches who don't need kids. Then
Which
I had
sounds
a kid.
great, by the way.
No, I kind of miss it sometimes.
Awesome. Yeah.
But then I had a kid. And in some ways, they kind of felt like that was a betrayal of this like girl crew that we had. And some of those relationships have weathered the storm. And some of them, and these were people that I counted on my short list of really, really close people. And Ashley and I did an episode about this for the last show we were on. It's been really tricky and very painful because it's hard to. Yeah. I do take offense that you don't want to care about my kid, actually. Yeah. Like, I do take offense to it. And I probably care a little bit more than Ashley does in this case. But it hurts my feelings. Like, we don't have to hang out with my kid. I will get a sitter and we will go rage as much as I can rage in this body right now. And I'm really good about this. I will take a vacation with you without my kid. I will go to your birthday party without my kid. I will have a date with you without my kid. But you should ask about my kid.
It is. I agree. I'm really working on being like a graceful person. I think I sort of not side with you, but I understand that a little bit more because you feel as a friend when you pour your emotion and your caring into your friendships over the years and any manifestation of their passion that might, bear fruit, their job or their relationship, and you're invested in them, you feel like, okay, I'm doing something. I know it's typical. I know everybody has kids, blah, blah, blah. But you can feel a sense of betrayal. Like, listen, I know I didn't win a Nobel Peace Prize, but I'm doing something big. So can you send me a text? So I really, really struggle with trying to like let go of expectations, but it's tricky because like I said before, I mean, you could have, and Keri, in your case too, a group of women that maybe envisioned that for themselves and it never happened. And so now you're just that reminder to them inadvertently of something that they didn't get. It's so hard.
Except that was how it was with me before. And I somehow managed to get over it because they were important to me.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I was in that case where I had miscarriages and my friends were getting pregnant. Guess what? I went to therapy. I worked through it. I didn't let my friends go. And I asked my friends that don't have kids about their mom, their cat, their workout routine. You can ask me about my kid. I ask about how your mom's doing in old age care. I keep tabs on your life. You should keep tabs on mine. That's how I feel. Anyway, enough about my rants.
I love it. No, I love it. I think it's so important to be honest about that kind of stuff because, I mean, yes, we are all choosing different paths in our lives, but you can't expect to maintain a friendship if there's no sort of give and take.
And that's on the good friends front. Other people, who cares?
But, and see, that's the other thing for me is like, you know, I look at somebody like my best friend in the world, Zach. He has no kids. He has no interest in kids. And he is still my best friend. He is my son's godson. He sends him a Christmas gift and a birthday gift, which is totally unnecessary. But for me, if that was not the case, then we just weren't that good of friends. I'm not saying that's the case for you guys, but that's my mindset. So I think that kind of helps things. It's like, all right, well, we just weren't there. We that's like so many other relationships in my life. This was, you know, I had built it up to something it wasn't.
It had a sequel, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just mourning that. I think that's a me issue.
Totally.
It's just mourning that, you know?
Totally. Yes.
Yeah. I see a bunch of questions coming in, guys. Just a heads up, we're going to get to those for sure. I have to ask this really quickly though, because I don't know if this is like a geographic thing or like what's what. Is there mom drama where you guys are? Is there like mom group, like weird little cat fights? I mean, like, please give me some juicy stories because I was under this mistaken impression that when we left middle school, high school, even college, I'll give it an extended grace period of even say college. We have the free reign to be crazy, but I'm surprised at how many infights there are between moms and certainly like in school groups or in play groups. Like, do you have any crazy stories that you want to share? Because I would love to hear them.
I think Keri would have more stories than I do. Cause again, I'm a recluse. I like my kid is in Zoom school. We don't know. We have no idea.
I'm just going to say this. I'm getting ready to move to the suburbs. So I expect this to happen. But my two best friends who live in two different suburbs, I have been a part of their mom drama. It's amazing. Like I'm like in it, but I don't even live there. It's so exciting. Okay. So ready? I'm modish, but it's not about me. Okay. So my friend moved to the suburbs and she was trying to get to know people, and her next door neighbor had kids and their kids played. So they're like, great, I'll become friends with this mom. It's proximity. We're helping each other out. Like I have to cook. Can I send my kids over? So this mom was like the cool mom in a clique. Right. And so she was like, I'm having a birthday weekend upstate. All the moms are coming. You should come meet these moms. My friend's like, amazed. She's like, husbands are invited too. And she's like, great, we'll get a sitter for the kids. Me and my husband we're finally going to meet friends. Right. So my friend likes to drink. She likes to drink. You know, she would fit in well with Ashley and I. No, it's not you. What if I was outing you this way? It'd be so horrible.
I'm also like, why don't I know this story about me?
You're like, I was so drunk, I forgot the story.
Oh my God.
So she goes upstate. They're having a great time. She's like, I can't, all these moms. I'm so glad I'm meeting all these moms. Evidently, she got like more drunk than these other women like getting drunk, right?
And her imaginary threshold.
Right. Her husband says she didn't do anything wrong because my friend called me devastated. All these moms just dropped off the planet, stopped talking to her. And so she was like, she's like, I need you to come over. Luckily, I'm moving closer. She's like, I need you to come over and talk this out. Like, I need to like see if there's something that I'm missing. Like, I don't think I was that drunk. Like, I've definitely been more drunk with you. She asked her husband, who wasn't even that drunk. He's like, no. She's like, did I hit on someone's husband? Did I take my top off? Like, what happened? I was like, oh, that sounds great. That's a great mom party. So all the moms just ghosted her. And then she was getting her hair done in this small town. And the hairdresser was like, oh, are you invited to Maggie's whatever party? Because, you know, and she was like, no.
That's awful.
She just got ghosted.
That's awful.
Completely. She still doesn't know why.
And she wrote like a group text being like, hey guys, it was so fun. Thanks for inviting me. If something happened, please let me know. Like, you know, she was like, I was on a diet and I drank. Sometimes things get hairy when you're calorie counting and then you're drinking those White Claws. She's like, I was trying to lose the weight after the twins. If there was something, please let me know. Like, I was so happy to be like, she was the grown up and said, listen, I will hold account. Ghosty toasty.
Wow.
And the kids still play together. So she still has to see those people.
Listen, I would be like, oh, they moved. And I would like board up the window so they could never see that. I think we're better than this as a species, right? Like women have to, I mean, even to be and what really gets my goat is that, there was the one person on that text thread who had enough of a conscience and heart to be like, let me just respond to her. Can we just, and the HBIC was like, no. And if you do it, you're out too. Like, it's just, it boggles the mind that this
is why I can't do suburbs for this precise reason.
It's going to happen to me, I'm sure.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I'll have to write in and tell you what happens when I move to the burb.
I'm still in the I don't want to know my neighbor's mindset.
All right, we're going to take some questions. I want to get you guys' thoughts on these or getting comments and questions. Okay, Jamie says, how do you approach not being friends with certain moms anymore, but your kids were or are still good friends? What are you guys' thoughts?
Couldn't tell you, Jamie. Couldn't tell you. I think
I would say, from being a nanny, you kind of approach it in just a business relationship. You just have to just be like your kids are your business. You're just like, cool, let's broach this. You have to put in a little bit. So maybe invite them to something every once in a while where your kids are playing, but on a whole, just create it so that's like a business relationship. Like, hey, so great to see you at whatever. Can our kids play this week? They're welcome to come over my house. Like, you still have to, it's sort of like relatives a little bit. Like, you still have to be like a little bit nice to them and reach out the olive branch, but you don't have to go out of your way anymore. You can keep it in like a business relationship.
Are they old enough to do like a drop-off situation? Because that's what I would do. You take turns dropping your kid off.
Yeah, you do that and then not have to be around. Yeah. Here's kind of a follow-up question on that, because I was just talking about this with a friend who's in this situation. The other mom has not been nice to her, but her kid keeps asking. She's like, what do you think? Should I feel so like desperate cow being like, knowing that she doesn't like me and I don't like her, like, hey, can our kids hang? Would you just tell your kid, oh, Sally's busy every day for like 3 months? Or would you just bite the bullet, send the text to the person that is not necessarily nice to you, and just kind of do it for the kid?
It depends. It depends on what the issue is. But I would probably be like, ooh, sorry, Sally went somewhere else. She's gone.
She got hit by a car. Just kidding. Yeah. She went to boarding school because she's terrible.
Because she's just like her mom.
Yeah.
And then the real truth.
I would like to think that I would. I don't know, but I would like to think that I would be like, hey, even if, we might have our differences, but our kids really like each other. So let's do it for the kids. I would like to say, but I don't know because I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Keri's a lot more mature than I am.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can sort of understand both viewpoints. I'd probably put it off as long as I could. And then if they keep asking, just bite the bullet. Okay. What about this? What quality, good or bad, has motherhood brought out in you?
Oh, well, let me say this. I don't know if this is a quality, but after I had Sebastian, I am suddenly terrified of so many things. Like, I don't even like sitting in the passenger side of a car when it's driving down the highway. It freaks me out. I never loved flying. Now flying is horrible for me. Just these little things, like, I wanted a motorcycle so bad, like wanted one. I used to get into arguments with my husband about being like, one day I'm going to get a motorcycle and you can't do anything about it. Like, I'm going to be fine. We were literally driving home on the highway the other day. I saw somebody on a motorcycle and I was like, look at that lunatic. What's wrong with them? That I think is the worst quality.
Ashley, you do look really good in a motorcycle look.
I know. It's for me.
I know.
But the best quality is I suddenly care so much more about politics, about the planet. I didn't give a shit to recycle before. Honestly, I was like, yeah, recycle, great. What? I mean, really, does it make a difference? I genuinely care about policy change, about saving the world. I have like this bleeding heart suddenly, which sucks on one hand, but on the other hand, I am proud of it. So that's me.
I love that. That's empathy. Yeah.
I was pretty perfect to begin with, so I don't know. Just kidding.
Nothing changed.
No,
she's definitely more modest.
Sorry, my ear holes are so small. I'm having trouble making these earbuds stay in my ear. I would say that I give less fucks. That's the best thing about being a parent, because I've suffered from anxiety my whole life, and pregnant and postpartum, it got a little tricky with different anxieties. But now at 2 years out, I give way less fucks. It's so nice. It's like the priorities just crazy shifted, and it's helped strangely, it's helped my anxiety a lot because I just don't care as much about stuff unless I really care about it. Like Ashley was saying, like the quality of my family, safety for my child, stuff about policy, and like that stuff I really care about, and everything else is just like, fuck it. Okay, I'm late. I don't give a shit. I didn't make that money that I thought I was going to make, whatever. Like I'd give less fucks. That's been hallelujah. Like even my SSRI didn't do that. So thank you for giving less fucks. Negative things is I just don't, self-care is really important to my well-being. I literally, that's my other job. I'm in wellness. And I haven't yet found a way to carve the same kind of care into my self-care. And that's changed me as a person. It's changed. I'm more angry. I'm more frustrated. And I think this is relatable across the board for a lot of people, but I'm not always a great person when I don't have self-care. And so in some ways that's a negative thing that parenthood has, is that I'm a little bit less nice, and I need to work on that. I'm trying to work on finding time to carve that out, because I know it's key to me being a good person and a good parent.
Yeah, I think I'm not saying I'm good at this at all, but I do think it took, oh God, I don't even think I thought about a routine or schedule as far as my self-care was concerned until like maybe 5 years in. And even now, my son is 7, my oldest, and 7.5. And I'm like, it's still like, it's so predictable how messy my life is. It's like a stereotype of a mom. Hey, harried mom. Like you think you're going to be the one mom that escapes all those like stupid stereotypes. You're tired all the time. And then every stereotype becomes you, and you're like, oh my God, they said this for a reason. Like you really are always tired, and you really are always worried, and the anxiety can be crippling at times. Like it was just because I feel like listening to your guys' story, and of course, having done research on you before having you on, I had a career too. And I was also the same person who was like, you know what, if it comes, it comes. It's great. If it doesn't, it's fine. I find fulfillment in other ways. But I really was shocked how like I became a stereotypical mom in so many ways. And I would find myself writing this stuff or saying this stuff. It was just so trite. They grow up so fast, but it's so true. It's like, it's kind of shocking to me. And I guess all those sayings are around for a reason, but
I've even gone to the underwear stereotype, in every movie when they're like, oh, she went from wearing thongs to wearing granny panties. Yeah. And it's like, hi, it's me. I don't wear underwire bras anymore because I just can't.
It's a bandeau bra. I can't. I'm like, you know what? I can't even strapless bra. My boobs are defined.
Like, get out of here with your underwire. Get out of here with anything that goes up my ass. I don't want it. I'm already uncomfortable all day long. Just let me have my ugly underwear, for God's sakes.
Oh, I love it. If I ever run for president, that would be my campaign slogan. All
That's
women.
Your platform.
Okay, I want to do an question here from Dana. She says, how do you handle mom friends that cannot handle or aren't genuinely happy for your success, but you're always rooting for them and their success? Do you just stop trying like I do?
Yep, pretty much. I just, like Keri said, with the, giving zero fucks, like just not caring anymore. That's basically, if you don't have the space for me to be a good friend, a reciprocal friend in your life, then I don't know why I need to make the space for you. Again, I'm a Virgo and I'm an only child. So my threshold for bullshit is very, very low. So maybe I'm not the best person to ask, Dana, but yeah, I would say goodbye. See you.
Yeah.
I give it like 1 or 2 more shots in general. Like I try all my therapy techniques that I know to try to mediate the conversation. I am good at that kind of thing, like talking about awkward stuff. I'm good at that. So I try at least 2 times, so much so that my other friends who love me will sometimes call me and be like, did you try with her? I told you not to. Stop it. You're making yourself crazy. You're giving her too much credit. Like I have one friend that checks in on me because I, share my drama with her, and she's always like, Keri, She doesn't deserve it. Like she's really good at keeping me in check. I'm like, I'm just going to do one more thing. She's like, Keri, stop. Like, I love that about you, that you try, but 2 times is enough. So I do try to mediate the conversation in a couple ways, including my ownness in the situation. I know that I have done this, whatever. And then I just have to, then I give it the fucks, but I do give it a couple more chances more than Ashley does.
Yeah. It is a personal.
But Dana, you shouldn't feel guilty about stopping trying. Like, I feel like it's a me thing that I need to do that. Like, it's a compulsion. I don't necessarily know if it's the right thing to do. It's just a compulsion that I need to do before I can fully let it go. It's like when you get rid of your closet, like some people just put it right into Salvation Army. I have a bag of like goes right away. And then let's think about it for a little while. Before I throw it out. Yeah. So it's like I move those friends into the let's think about it before going to salvo, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I do think, I mean, again, not to like lean into a stereotype, but sometimes for women, it's hard to fully, I guess I should speak for myself. It is hard for me to fully cut the cord and be like, because you do feel like you've invested energy or time in this person and you don't understand why. Why don't they react like I do? Why don't they? But you do. Like, it really is, I'm hearing you say that and I just need to like ingest that lesson. I'm not knocking on your door like, why aren't we friends anymore?
Let me clarify. It's not like one strike you're out with me. Right. It's definitely like what Keri's saying. They get a couple of chances. Right. And it's like, if I'm putting the effort in and I'm trying to make it work and you're just not doing it, then this isn't worth my energy.
Right.
I think personally, and this is just, I always come from a therapy standpoint. My dad was a therapist and is that I think because I'm like from a divorced family and I was mediating between, I think it's really hard for me to like let stuff die. I hold on to it because I'm like, let's just give it one more try. Like, let's just try to make this work. I was that kind of girlfriend for the most part. And so I'm just that way with my friends. And it's totally like has to do with my upbringing and what happened. But I am like, wish that I'd be more like, we're done. It's fine.
What is your sign, Keri?
I'm an Aries.
An Aries. What's like the defining quality of an Aries?
Bossy.
Ooh, okay.
Braggart. Born leader. Loud.
Those are good qualities, actually.
Yeah, and I have a Virgo. Again, I'm in the wellness industry, so obviously I know my chart. And I'm a Virgo moon and a Libra rising or whatever. But anyway, yeah. It just basically means that I'm like obnoxious and loud and bossy, but also empathetic. That it comes from empathy. I'm like the most bossy, and then I don't make apologies for it. But inside, I'm like, oh, everything hurts.
But also, the people you care about, you take very good care of.
Yes,
and you really care about their feelings.
Oh, thanks.
I have to say, you guys, how sometimes you listen to podcasts and you're like, oh my God, they secretly hate each other. You guys have a very genuine, like, I can tell you're friends. Like, it's not, it's just really comforting. It's kind of like just like putting a cup to the wall, like overhearing, like sometimes.
Oh, that's nice.
It is. I mean, it's really good. I was listening to, the one with your husbands and talking about partners apologizing. I mean, like, it's just clear you guys you vibe on a real level. I just love that. I love seeing women genuinely connecting and supporting each other.
I know we have another question, but just secret hot goss. We were not friends to begin with. Do you know that story?
Tell us. Like, you guys were with Scary Mommy for a while. Is that how you met?
Yeah. We were cast as best friends.
Right.
It was like a match made in Hollywood heaven. I would have thought there were decades of experience there.
We aced the chemistry test.
Yeah, it turns out they knew something. They saw something that we didn't know. But very early on. I think I texted you. I think I was like,
probably.
Hey, we need to talk on the daily to make this work. Let's actually be friends.
And I was like, oh God, honestly, because I just like don't want to do that with anybody. She's the only person other than my mom I talk to every day.
But she wanted to succeed, so she agreed.
Right.
And then I was like, then we had a photo shoot together. And from that first photo shoot, which is even before the podcast first recorded, we like fell in love with each other in that moment. And then from then on, it was like, there was no pretending. It was dead on. And it was the kind of friendship. I've had a couple of friends like this. Actually, the friend that I thought I was going to book the Scary Mommy job with, who's my other best friend, we were like this. The first moment we met, I was like, oh, it's it. This is it. This is a lifetime friendship. And that's how it was when Ashley and I finally actually talked one-on-one, not like in front of casting agents to be best friends.
Right.
It was just on. It was on like Donkey Kong, like from minute one. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask this then. Keri, what do you see in Ashley that you love best or most? And Ashley, what do you see in Keri that you love the most?
I love that Ashley is unabashedly who she is, and she cares so much for her family. We have an equal love for our mothers that I have not seen in another human being ever. Ashley is the only other person that I know that literally like their mom is their ride or die bitch in the same way that my mom is. And she cares so genuinely, and she doesn't make bones about who she is. Like, she's just like, this is who I am, like, take it or leave it. And I don't know if she was always that way, but as after motherhood, she is that way. And she's a really good friend. Like, she doesn't have a lot of like close friends, but the ones that she does, you can count on her for anything. And you can also count on her to tell you when she doesn't like something, which is very hard in a friend. No, seriously, like, we had a little mini thing this morning where I was like, are you mad at me? And she's like, I want to tell you something, don't get mad. I need that in a friend. I need that. Yeah. That's trust. That's deep trust. Like, I'm in a romantic relationship with her. Mm-hmm. And that's what I need in a good friend, where we're like in a marriage. I need that.
I love that.
I mean, for me, it's all the same things with Keri, but I think my number one is she is who she is, and it don't matter. Like, that's it. Like, you can take it. She's not really a take it or leave it kind of person, but she's not going to change who she is to fit your standards or your mold. And she is also, I'm sorry, you took my things, but you really are a great friend. You really care about your friends. Like,
you're gonna make us cry now.
She has so many friends where I'm oh no, music's about to play. Sorry, I just hit something on my thing. I don't know if you heard it.
Nope, didn't hear it.
We're good. Okay, good. What was I saying? I just panicked.
You're saying I was a good friend, and I have so many friends.
But she's like has a zillion friends under the sun. Where I'm like I just don't have the time. I don't have the patience for it. And she cares about every single one of them. And she like goes out of her way to do nice things for people and like be an attentive, loving friend. And I think that is such a beautiful quality, especially for me, because I just don't give a shit. So I think it's lovely that she cares so much.
We're a really good team. We really are. Yeah. We're stronger together than we are apart.
Yeah, it comes across. And I know you guys know that in this field where it's like your job to communicate and chemistry is so important and timing, like there are so many intangibles that go into a podcast like yours. You're meshing your personal life with work. I mean, it's got to work and it works. So this kind of thing. And I have this comment from my friend Bree, who I adore. She says, I think so much of this is just having the confidence to show up to our friendships. Oh, leave that question up, Rach, and we'll do that next. To show up to our friendships, our mom groups, and be exactly ourselves from the start. This is who I am, and your people will find you. Yes. And Bree is awesome, a friend for me to remind me, okay, just like you guys said, it's not worth reinventing the wheel for one person who's not going to be friends. Yep.
One time I had a teacher in college say an all-purpose room is a no-purpose room. And I use that for my whole life. Like, be specific and your people will find you. You don't need to be an all-purpose room. You don't have to be a kitchen, a dining room, a bedroom. Just pick a room and go with it.
Love that.
You're never going to make everyone happy, even if you are the all-purpose room. So who gives a shit? Just stick to your laurels and do you.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bree's question was, and I love this too, how do you think social media has impacted mom culture?
Oh, well, is anyone's life brown? Because that is every perfect social media influencer mom.
Whatever. It's like the filter.
Like white and brown, and that's it. There is no in between. And also, nobody only plays with wood toys. That's bullshit. Your kids want shit that lights up and makes noise and is hating it. Aside from that, I think social media has forced mothers to feel even more like you have to be perfect, because if you're not, it doesn't get likes. If you're not, people are going to say shit on your feed. It's too much. It's too much. None of us are perfect. None of us. And even if you are, there's still going to be somebody who has an issue.
Mm-hmm.
You got to let it go.
Also, how are so many people influencers? How do people have time to be influencers? Like every person in Australia, every mom in Australia, like everybody in New
also
South
Nashville.
Wales. Yeah, everyone in Nashville, New South Wales,
and Texas is a big one too.
Yeah. How do you have time to be an influencer when you have like 23 kids, which all of them do? Like, how do they have time? Like, Ashley and I are trying to gain followers, and we're like too busy parenting to like try to get the shot or to try to like comment on your Facebook. Like, it is hard to get likes and followers. And then how do all of these people have time? How is everyone a freaking influencer?
What happens when Instagram?
I'm old.
What happens when Instagram goes away? Like when this is off subject, kind of, but just planting this little seed for people. What happens when Instagram totally goes away? What is your career?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I mean,
maybe you just become a parent. I don't know.
That's true. That's too hard. I can't do that. I need some distraction. My phone usage numbers would attest to the fact that I'm always looking to escape something. I mean, it's embarrassing, really. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, it is interesting because I do think there are a lot of people that I follow who really capture visually the beauty of motherhood or these moments. And I have tremendous respect for that. I just can't do it. Like, I think you get, and maybe this is where you guys are too. I mean, like, I can show my experience with motherhood in different ways, talking with people, connecting with people, but there are some people who are just so gifted in showing these like little snippets. And it is hard not to feel like, oh God, my playroom does not look like that. Or, my carrot cake or banana bread. Like I got mine from Publix yesterday. But yeah.
I miss Publix.
Yeah.
Publix is the greatest supermarket. Sorry, that's besides the point.
Are you from the South originally?
I was born in Miami. I lived there till I was 10. Cool. And Publix was, my parents both worked at Publix. It's a big part of my history, but what a great supermarket.
The Wegmans people are going to come after you. All those Wegmans moms.
I love Wegmans.
Do the right thing, Publix.
You know what? I don't know if like gun to head, I'm going to have to pick Wegmans. I have to say. I love Publix for what it is, but I'm a girl from the North where I came from. Giant Eagle is even better than Wegmans, I think, but that's just like a regional Pittsburgh thing. Wegmans is really hard to beat.
I've never been to a Wegmans.
Guys, this is riveting conversation.
Okay, so before we go, I want you guys to tell us more about your show. And we touched on the scary mommy stuff too, but I want to know why you ended up doing your own thing, what we can expect on your show, where to follow you. So like, tell me all the goodness about Momtourage.
May I?
So I'll go ahead, Ash, please.
All right, you do. You take the first part.
I was just going to take the part of the
scary mommy
show, and then So right around the new year, Scary Mommy rebranded their company in how they operated, as many companies do in their when they look at the quarters, and they decided they were going to become a different kind of company. And that company was going to be advertiser based, where no content was created unless an advertiser was specifically buying it, and then when they were going to create content. Whereas before, they were doing more creating content, just seeing if an advertiser eventually wanted to. So as you know, and they run their model kind of like they're business people, and so podcasts, as you know, probably take a long time to make real money. Like it's blood, sweat, and tears. And even if you have the money just doesn't come quickly. No. And so as a company, it didn't make sense to continue with a podcast after 6 months, even though podcasts don't make money until you're in year one almost, usually, unless there's like a celebrity attached, obviously. And then in this new way, we would only be doing shows that were specifically sponsored by an advertiser. So the content was going to change a lot. And so they did some rearranging of their company. They changed the whole brand of their company. People got let go. Everything changed. And in that, they gave us the go ahead to say, we can't continue with a podcast this way because it's not advertiser based in the same way that our company is going to be working. But you can go do your own thing. We give you our blessing. Obviously, you can't use a Scary Mommy brand. Obviously, there's things that change. And we're like, great, because that's our plan, because we love doing this. Yeah. We think we're really 6 months in, we're just getting the groove. We're like really feeling it. And we love the excuse to hang out with each other and talk to each other. It's more the excuse, not to ourselves, but to our husband, be like, I gotta go shoot. Sorry, bye. Yeah, and so then
they do bring us back. They brought us back for COVID. There was a Huggies sponsored 4 episodes. So we do still work with them when they will have us, which is fun. But we started Momtourage. It launched in February. It's been really great. We've enjoyed doing it. I have a production background. Keri has a podcasting background. And we just wanted to keep working together. So now we have kind of rebranded a little bit ourselves in that we are also doing a live show weekly on Thursdays on Facebook at 9 p.m. Just like this. It's called Momtourage Live from Your Couch. So you can catch it on facebook.com/Momtourage Podcast. And we use some of that for our podcast that we air every week also. And we're just
on Wednesday air date for the podcast.
Okay.
Yes, it comes out the following Wednesday.
Awesome.
And this week we have Nicole Ryan from XM Radio's Morning Mashup as our co-host.
Oh, that's cool. How did that collaboration happen?
Well,
2 ways. Go ahead. I was her yoga teacher.
Yeah, and I know her manager, and we were just like, we were throwing around names like, who should we have on the show? And I was like, what about Nicole Ryan? She's like, oh, she's my yoga student. Let me reach out to her. And that's how it happened.
That's awesome. And it's nice to with you guys too. You know, you don't have to have a guest all the time. If you just get on the mic and, shoot the shit with you guys, and it's entertaining too. So
Plus we drink, so you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so fun. I'm really grateful that you took time and took a chance on my maiden voyage here on We Got
So I feel honored that you wanted us as our first guest. You popped your cherry. Ooh.
When we get off of this, we got to throw you some dates to come on to our show.
I am so down for that. I would love to. I when you're a fan from afar for a while, it's cool to interact with, the real people behind it. So I'm just grateful for your time. Any final thoughts, knowledge bombs you want to drop on our listeners about surviving motherhood and finding friends before we wrap?
My only final thoughts are 2 things. One, your eyebrows. I am hot and bothered about your eyebrows.
Oh my God. I was a girl who, when I was 12, I'm almost 100% Italian, wanted these, a bar. So I suffered to have these. Yes. I'm so hot for your eyebrows. I want to get ready with your eyebrows. And 2, your necklace layering. So I am
so good.
I am just
also very Italian American of me to I am with my little cornicello, I'm a Lido over here.
I'm half Italian, and I'm just oh God, I am girl. So my final thought is I'm girl crushing on you. Keep it up. That's all I got to say. That's my final thought.
If I may say, I'm half Cuban, so it's all the same. Unibrow, the layered jewelry, the earring, it's a cultural thing. I'm here for it. But my final thought is, aside from just watching Sonny's show, which is awesome, watch ours also tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on Facebook. Sorry, I had to throw it in.
Love it.
She's the producer in her. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you guys again so much. And guys, if you are listening to the podcast version of this, which comes out Thursdays, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and follow these guys on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle again? Momtourage Podcast?
Momtourage Podcast. Everything is Momtourage Podcast except our email, which is momtouragepod@gmail.com.
We love a good email.
Yeah.
Drop them some dirty pictures. Just kidding. All right.
Keri will love it. I'll be like, but Keri would love it. Keri sent me a boob shot yesterday while I was at Honda.
Okay, I sent you a boob shot because I got stuck. This is relatable, and then we'll go. I was trying to take a too small sports bra off, and it got stuck right here. So these udders were squashed, and I was having a panic attack, I might have to cut the bra off me. I was and then I sent her a picture of that.
That's friendship.
In the midst of her panic attack, she found a way to take a picture and send it to me.
See, as a small-chested person, I've never had that problem. You could roll out pizza dough here. I mean, it's all good.
She was like, I'm at the Honda dealership. I was like, okay, who cares? Nobody wants to see these udders. Whatever, it's fine.
These are my people. All right, guys. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sonni. Bye, guys.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching this debut episode. Follow me on Instagram at We Gotta Talk with Sonni, and on Facebook, it is facebook.com/We Gotta Talk. We will see you guys next week with more goodness. Bye.